Season's greetings, and thank you for joining me for my weekly video briefing. It's hard to believe, but once again, we're heading into the holiday season with great concern about the spread of the virus. Even with such an enormous percentage of our population fully vaccinated, COVID cases nationally and locally are skyrocketing. With many families planning to celebrate the holidays with large gatherings and more traveling, I'm worried about the potential of massive outbreaks of COVID that will put a strain on our hospitals and our healthcare system. The Omicron strain is already shown to be very contagious and spreading rapidly. It is showing up in 73% of new COVID cases in our nation, according to the CDC. Nationally, COVID numbers are 10% higher than a week ago, and nearly 80% of the country's intensive care unit beds are already full with COVID-19 patients, accounting for 1 in 5 of those beds, according to the data from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. For two reasons, it is much more difficult to know what is actually happening closer to home. First, a cyber attack on the state's data dashboard at the beginning of the month has left us without statewide or local test positivity and case rates for almost 3 weeks now. While we have some statewide data, we are still waiting for county-level data. Maryland is now reporting a positivity rate over 11% for the last 7 days, which is the highest that it's been since the spring of 2020. Governor Hogan noted this past Sunday that this is, quote, probably the worst surge we've seen in our hospitals throughout the entire crisis, unquote. And unfortunately, on Monday, he announced that he himself had COVID. Our wishes for mild symptoms and a speedy recovery go out to him and everyone who has contracted COVID. Second, unfortunately, the state has not directed the testing companies to adequately determine the variant, whether it's the older Delta or the newer Omicron. Having this information would have been immensely helpful. But in any case, the rapid rise in cases is a stark reminder that people need to get boosted if they already haven't. And please keep washing your hands, wearing masks, maintaining physical distancing, and please get tested. Regarding testing, many of our testing sites have recently been overwhelmed by the numbers of people getting tested. We have seen nearly a 300% increase in testing at our county's COVID testing sites. We're recommending making appointments online since walk-up opportunities are limited. We also know that there is a high demand for rapid tests, and those supplies continue to be limited as well. The county continues to order and wait for the arrival of more of these tests to give out to the community. To get an appointment at a county testing clinic, go to montgomerycountymd.gov/COVID-19/testing. His announcement that he contracted COVID should be a reminder to everyone how important it is to get boosted, continue to get tested, mask up, wash your hands regularly, and physically distance as much as possible. Vaccination was not a tool in our toolkit last year, and it is our best defense against the virus. It's good to see that many in our community are taking this latest surge seriously, but we still have over 50% of our vaccinated residents that have not taken their boosters. Evidence is showing that the boosters are even more important with Omicron, which is much more transmissible than the Delta variant. I want to point out that when we all had our shots, and then we were told we were expecting to get boosters, I think most people felt this was sort of going to be like the flu. You get the flu, you get a shot, and the next year you get boosted. What's significantly different here is Omicron changed. Some people like to reference that we may be changing our goalposts or moving our goalposts. I want to assure people we're not moving goalposts. What happened is COVID put a new team on the field, and we're in a different game now. And so the importance of getting boosted is more important than ever. We knew that after 6 months, the vaccines would begin to weaken in their defense, and that was even with Delta. Now with Omicron being much more infectious than Delta, residents who do not get boosted are increasingly vulnerable to both the Delta virus and to the Omicron version of the virus. So there are two threats out there, and it's really important that you get your booster shot. Scientists have said, and they've tested this, that if you get a booster shot, you'll go back to about the same level of protection you had after you had your 2 doses and you were within the 6-month window. So please take this seriously. We're putting out as many shots as we can. We're still limited by the state in terms of how many doses are available, but schedule yourselves and get yourselves in to the county sites, the hospitals, the other healthcare providers in the county, and get that booster shot. It will make a difference, and it's important that we do this if we're going to minimize the negative effects of the coming surge. Last weekend, we took booster shots to the people and hosted our first Boosterama at Westfield Wheaton, and it worked. We got the word out about the event and about the importance of getting a booster shot, and our residents answered the call. 100 people were in line before we opened, and eventually we had to bring in more doses to this event to meet the demand. By the end of the day, we boosted and provided first doses to 420 attendees. As a result of the success of this event, we're already planning our next Boosterama, as well as pop-up clinics in targeted communities. But don't wait for the next Boosterama. There are booster shots available every day at our county health clinics, as well as local pharmacies and healthcare facilities. Please visit govaxmoco.com to find out the nearest location to you and make an appointment. One of the biggest areas of concern of the surge is its impact on our schools and our children. Our HHS department is working in concert with MCPS to find the right balance between keeping our children safe and healthy while keeping in-class learning as intact as possible after the holiday break. Let me be clear, we're not going to put our children in more risk to be in school building than they would be in the community. It is wise to currently limit extracurricular activities, but it's also critical that we do everything in our power to continue in-class learning. The rates of learning loss that occurred when schools were virtual, especially on lower-income and minority families, was heartbreaking. Additionally, for many families, losing out on school resources and the service they provide, such as daily lunches, as well as the economic impacts for parents who can't work from home to monitor children, learning virtually is something we must all work hard to avoid through some very tough weeks ahead. MCPS and HHS will continue keeping our parents, students, and teachers and school employees aware of any changes or updates throughout the holiday break. We are hoping and asking the families and parents of MCPS students especially also help keep other students safe by getting their children tested and vaccinated before they return to school. Over 50% of our 5 to 11-year-old population that are all eligible have not yet been vaccinated. I strongly urge parents, guardians, and family and friends to get our young people their shots. It's really important now. I want to take a few minutes to talk about some non-COVID important news. Last week, I presented awards to 4 people who have made a tremendous impact in our community. I want to tell you a little bit about these people. I presented the inaugural Inez Ziegler Maccabee and William Harvey Ziegler Humanitarian Award and the 2021 Roscoe R. Nix Distinguished Community Leadership Awards. This event recognized and honored 4 of our county's most distinguished volunteers and community servants. I was proud to present the first Inez Ziegler Maccabee and William Harvey Ziegler Humanitarian Award and the Roscoe Nix Awards that will not be presented this year on Human Rights Day. Inez and Harvey Ziegler both had a lifelong commitment to civil rights, community service, and local activism that made it more than appropriate for our Humanitarian of the Year Award to be renamed the Inez Ziegler Maccabee and William Harvey Ziegler Humanitarian Award. And although Inez is no longer with us, it was an honor to present the first award to Harvey, who has done so much to fight for human and civil rights in this county for decades. At 101 years old, Mr. Ziegler remains a community and civic activist, mentor, and historian. During his lifelong pursuit for equality and justice, his accomplishments have included striking down job discrimination and promoting the hiring of African Americans in government agencies like Montgomery County Public Schools and in the Montgomery County Fire Department. I was also pleased to honor 3 community leaders with the Roscoe R. Nix Distinguished Community Leadership Awards for their extraordinary contributions to Montgomery County over the course of their lives. These 3 awards are presented to Byron A. Johns, a longtime advocate for educational equity and the current education chair for the Montgomery County branch of the NAACP. Byron co-founded the Black and Brown Coalition for Educational Equity and Excellence with fellow 2021 Nix Leadership Award recipient Diego Ribeiro. Diego Ribeiro is also the co-founder and executive director of Identity, an organization that creates opportunities for Latino and other historically underserved youth to help them realize their highest potential and thrive. Identity also works to empower parents to engage in their children's education and be champions for their success and the success of the community. And the third recipient of the Roscoe R. Nix Distinguished Community Leadership Awards was Blanca Kling, who passed away earlier this year. Blanca served Montgomery County residents for 4 decades as a media spokesperson, community leader, and victims' rights advocate. She had a long track record of public service and a lifetime of dedication to the county government and its constituents. These awards are the highest honor our county government can bestow upon our residents, and they highlight the tremendous work that people are doing to make this county a better and more equitable and inclusive place. Harvey said it best at this ceremony, quote, "If you don't work together and try to unite together, it's downhill. I've tried all these 101 years, and I feel like that's the only way to do it, is to unite and talk from the heart. Try and try again. If you fail once, don't give up. Keep trying," unquote. My sincere appreciation to all the awardees for their great work. Finally, this is my last weekly message of the year. Next week, we will share a video about some of the biggest highlights of 2021. I want to wish everyone a safe and healthy holiday season and a prosperous new year. 2021 certainly wasn't without its challenges. We, like many communities around this nation, lost loved ones to COVID and dealt with the continued economic, physical, and mental stress brought on by these unprecedented times. Our county still has many challenges in providing affordable housing and progressing our efforts to combat climate change, but we have made some important successes this year. Also this year, we once again united as a community, reached out and assisted our neighbors and uplifted strangers. Over the last several weeks, I've been to free coat drives, charity fundraisers, and clothing and food donation operations. In fact, earlier this week, I was able to join my granddaughter and others at a coat and food drive in Tacoma Park. I'm very lucky that despite the bad news that we read every day, I get to see the good in our people and that Montgomery County is full of compassionate humanitarians. I encourage you to continue to be good to yourself, your family, your neighbors, and your community. We must be united to make our county more equitable and welcoming and inclusionary to all. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a great week.